What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Under Review, where we look at all the latest and greatest games for a majority of all the consoles. This week we are looking at the brand new, newly released from Nintendo, Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee editions. Now let me start this review out by saying that Pokemon Let's Go is not really for seasoned Pokemon players. Let me get that out there right now, early on. If you are a new entry player, or if your first touch of Pokemon was with the mobile Pokemon Go, this game was built and designed with you in mind. That is not to say at all that seasoned players are going to have a distaste for the game. But instead, they will feel a bit aggravated. And one of the main reasons why is not just so much of like the simplicity of it, but the game is super easy. And if you're going in with that in mind, you will be a little bit better prepared. Not to mention, if you are a seasoned on what Pokemons are weak to, you can really kind of go through a majority of the game while one-hit KOing most of your opponents in battle. But for starters, this game is a rehash of Pokemon Red and Blue, but with the thought of Pokemon Go players strongly in mind. So catching Pokemon is just like the Pokemon Go game. You see Pokemon appear on the map, and when you run into them, you click on them, whatever the case may be, you're going to be taken to a screen that's going to look very similar to Pokemon Go. And trust me, by this point in time, the game's been out for so long, especially if you're a Pokemon fan, you've played Pokemon Go. You may still even be playing Pokemon Go. So that Pokemon's going to appear and you're going to throw your Pokeball at it to catch them. There's no longer any instance to where you have to battle that Pokemon and weaken them before you catch them. Now it's just straight to throw your Pokeball to catch them. Only thing you really got to be skilled at is aiming your Pokeball when throwing it. You can also gain experience from Pokemon catching, and you can actually gain more experience by multiple catching the same Pokemon. So you technically don't even have to fight anymore. You can go through the entirety of this game without having to fight. And just like in Pokemon Go, you earn candies. So you earn candies by catching the Pokemon, and you can earn extra candies by catching or by transferring them back to Professor Oak. So if you have multiples of the same Pokemon, just transfer them, you earn more candies. And the candies are used to make those Pokemon stronger, and their stats change. Just much like Pokemon Go, so I'm sure it probably rings a bell. Now, even with Pokemon Go element added to the game, okay? So even with that main construct still there, there's still the main construct of a normal Pokemon game, which we have not yet experienced in a console version of Pokemon to this date. So you get a Pokemon that's really where you start the game out. You do get a Pokemon, and depending on which version of the game you get, whether you got the Pikachu version or the Eevee version, that's going to be your starter Pokemon. And then you set out on an adventure to learn about Pokemon and to fill up your Pokedex. You're out to beat Team Rocket and take down gyms along your way. Now, the gyms isn't really required for you to be building up your Pokemon. The game is actually more built for you to actually build like an emotional attachment of taking care of your Pokemon, especially your starter Pokemon. So when you let your Pokemon out of the Pokeball and walk alongside you, or either you ride on that Pokemon or that Pokemon rides on your shoulder, much like Pikachu does, that Pokemon's is gonna build more of a stronger bond to you. You can actually take out your Joy-Cons and pet your Pokemon, and that tends to make the bond stronger. And that's going to increase their effects. So, for example, if you build your Pokemon bond up to a strong enough level, and you get an effect on you in the middle of battle to where you have like a poison effect or something of that nature, depending on how strong your bond is with that Pokemon will remove that effect from you. Also, if you're out in the world and there's an item you overlook or an item you can't see that your Pokemon can see, he'll go get that item for you and bring it back to you. And that's all based on how strong that bond is between you and your starter Pokemon or a Pokemon in general. Now, the game features a lot of new Go features for new players, but the nostalgia is what seasoned players will enjoy about the game. The maps, towns, and gyms you come into contact with will bring that rush of the late 90s back to you. I look at it for my son, who is at the age now of appreciating and loving Pokemon games. He fell in love with Pokemon Go because he was really, really small when Pokemon Go came out. But he got burnt out on that, at that game probably after like a year or so. And now I presented to him, now he's gone back and played some of the older games and has really, really enjoyed those, but now I presented him with Pokemon Let's Go, and he has yet to put it down, especially now that he's playing with his little Pokeball controller, which I will say, if you have that option to get the little Pokeball attachment controller, go get it. It actually makes the game pretty fun to play, and just launching that little Pokeball at your screen, just don't let go. Put the straps on your wrist. That's going to be essential. And the game also does feature a co-op drop-in, drop-out component to the game. So you can drop in, drop out with another player at any time. And you guys hunt and battle Pokemon together. And the other player will utilize Pokemon that you catch. So if your player is going to drop into your game, they're going to utilize what you have in your Pokeballs. And when you're going to catch a Pokemon, you can actually double team catching them by just simply timing your throws. And if you throw them at the same exact time, if you throw your Pokeballs at the same exact time, almost like a perfect throw, it makes catching the Pokemon so much easier, especially if it's a much stronger or rare one. So Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee is a pretty solid entry into the Pokemon series. It may not be what hardcore fans have been waiting for with the console release of Pokemon, but it will do for now. Newcomers to the franchise are going to love the game, and if you're one of the ones that spent years in Pokemon Go, you're going to feel right at home with this. It features some really, really cool new mechanics and a difficulty that newcomers will enjoy, but seasoned players will kind of frown upon it. But for what it delivers, it works. And it has an emotional connection with players and their Pokemon and nostalgia of games past that will keep players playing no matter what they're feeling. So for that, we gave Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee a very solid 8 out of 10. It's a great game. It's a definite holiday pickup game. If you're brand new to the Switch, this is a much need for your Switch. And if you have the option of getting a little Pokeball controller, go get it. So thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. We would greatly appreciate it. And until next time, everybody, game on.